Am I wrong for considering breaking up with my partner of 9 years for this? I'll try to keep this brief, but it probably won't work. We love each other very much but have been having some issues. There's some unresolved resentment on both our parts, but again, we care about each other deeply. We've both been going through a ton of hard shit. At the same time too, she's in grad school but is on a 2-month break during this story. Runs a company. And a ton of family stuff has been going on for me. I want to point out that she steps up a ton. And has never given me much reason not to trust her, really. My mom had been in the hospital and ended up being in there for 17 days, and I honestly didn't know if she would live a week, a month, or a year, given the problems she has. I had been the one taking care of everything mom related. And I was taking a few hours off from being at the hospital 24/7 and met some friends at a bar, along with my GF partner. Some of the people we met there are my GF's best friend and her husband. One of the topics that ended up coming up was about my GF's recent nipple piercings. Relevant later. I'm not the kind of guy that is even remotely bothered by these conversations. Anyway, I ended up just being so dead tired after about an hour, so I had to go home and sleep. I told her I really needed to be around people badly, but I just couldn't function and had to go sleep. This was around 4 to 5 p.m. She said she would see me in a little bit, and she knew that was the night I hit a proverbial wall with everything going on and that I would need someone to lean on. I pass out for 3 hours. I wake up and the house is dark and she's still not home. Turns out my GF's best friend had left the bar, as did all of our other friends, except the best friend's husband. My GF decided to take the husband to his brother's house, where we've all spent time hanging out before. His brother's wife, and a couple other people were at the house too. For some extra information, my GF has had an annoying habit of thinking she's more sober than she is and sometimes driving. Anyway, I talked to her once and she says she's fine and she's taking the best friend's husband to his brother's. She gets him there and says at 9 p.m. that she's going home. After that, other than her responding to one text, I never hear from her again that night. It turns out she was there for at least 2 more hours. Supposedly only had one drink while she was there, and supposedly did not see my texts asking if she got home okay, etc. I already woke up from that 3-hour nap with this pit in my stomach. I went up to the hospital and couldn't sleep the rest of the night because I just had a bad feeling, and I was crumbling due to what life was throwing at me. A big part of how I felt that night was because of my GF, though. I hate not knowing if she's okay, and I just had a bad feeling about this night in general. I never nag her though, and she doesn't nag me because we trust each other. Anyway, I put this out of my mind as best as I can. She tells me in the morning she never saw my texts, which I know is bullshit. A couple of weeks later, she nonchalantly tells me her best friend's husband asked to see her nipple piercings that night at his brother's house. She's known this guy longer than I've known her. He was friends with her ex back then and I considered him a good friend of mine. Even more context. I have zero problems with her showing her body when I'm around. In fact, I nearly encourage it. It turns me on for people to look at her but not touch. But I am completely not cool with anything happening while I'm not around, and I've made that abundantly clear. I am not cool with this. They've been drinking, she's ignoring me, and she's doing this without me or my consent. So I asked her if she did show him, and she says yes. I immediately get upset and say that's kind of fucked up actually, and that's not the reaction she was expecting apparently. Her best friend wouldn't give a shit, and she'd known nothing was going to happen between her husband and my GF. But the principle of it matters to me a fucking lot. I end up confronting her on a later day when I found out. We had friends over for a game night and I didn't want to make it weird and tell her I know it's bullshit that she didn't see my texts. It's bullshit that she lied about how much she was drinking again. And it's the height of bullshit that she showed him anything, even though I know there was nothing overtly sexual about it. And I believe her because I know them both. It filled me with fucking rage. More context. I have issues trusting people because of some really fucked up things my previous exes did and having some chronic liars in my family. Until this moment, I trusted my GF implicitly. I trusted her more than anyone I've ever dated. Hence why I was comfortable showing her off like I mentioned. Am I wrong that this is completely disrespectful on so many levels? Lying about how sober she is, lying about seeing my texts, and only volunteering the flashing information 2 to 3 weeks later.